So, today we're going to talk about Blizzard and Overwatch and problems that I have with the game that at this point I'm almost considering quitting, not because I don't like the game, but because of the outside issues relating to it. Now I'm going to start this off by saying that if you don't have a AMD card, you might not run into any of these issues. You might not run into these issues if your computer is slightly different than mine or if your setup is different. But for people like me, this is a problem. You may ask, what are you talking about? The summary is this, basically, right? I play Overwatch a lot. I have 4 stars. I've got 500 hours in the game, yada yada yada. But lately, due to buggy programming and bad server maintenance, I've been getting booted from a lot of competitive games, which gets me banned and costs me SR. I've actually, this season alone, gotten booted 6 times for things that are not my fault. In particular, there's a crash related to AMD cards that Blizzard refuses to fix on their end. Essentially, they misprogrammed something in AMD's programming language. AMD said, hey, here's how you fix this. Microsoft said, hey, here's how you fix this. And Blizzard came back with the response of, shove off. This isn't our problem. AMD needs to fix it. To compound how ridiculous this is, Microsoft themselves, having done the same thing in Forza, told them how to fix it, and they still didn't. As a result, a lot of computers with AMD cards were crashing significantly often, with the air rendering devices has been lost, which is patently ridiculous. Because in my case, my other monitor would work, and I could still see the YouTube videos in the background and so forth. And so clearly my graphics card was working just fine, and the problem was at Blizzard's end. A recent development has been their servers not connecting. My internet will be functioning fine. I know this for sure because I'll be in Discord calls and they won't be disrupted in any way. But my connection to Blizzard's server will be lost for pretty much no reason, which will end up costing me 50 SR and a 10-minute ban. It's actually happened so many times this season alone, these various crashes. One, which hard reset my computer, it was so bad, that I now have extended all the way to getting a 30-minute ban from the game for crashes and leaving that are not my responsibility, that are not my fault, and in fact lie entirely on Blizzard. In essence, the company is punishing the customer for the company's bad choices. That's not acceptable, to be honest. It's not acceptable customer service. It's not acceptable consumer treatment. Overall, it's just crappy. You aren't allowed to ban your customers from playing the product they bought because it's faulty. That's not something you can do. And that's essentially what's happening here. If you can't get your servers to work correctly, fix them, alright? You have millions of dollars. You can't get this game programmed. Why not? You're a company that's a subdivision of Activision. You have more than enough money. Just fix the bug. Don't make AMD release a software update to fix it on their own. It's not their responsibility, it's yours. Furthermore, it's not the customer's responsibility if their game crashes, and punishing them like it is ridiculous. Oh, well, it's the same as a lever. That's the rationale often presented. And I'm going to talk about this for a while, alright? Because this bothers me. I would be fine with the game crashing to this extent, relatively fine with it, if there weren't penalties for it. But there don't need to be penalties for it, and there are. And that's a problem. Right? So, here. Imagine, well, you don't have to imagine. I just gave you my story, right? I've lost over 250 SR to game crashes this season. If I had those back, I'd be high plat to diamond at this point. It's ridiculous for that to be the case. Oh, so the rationale presented by Blizzard, right, is that a crash is pretty much the same thing as a lever to everyone else in the game. You still cost your team the game. This is false. And there's a very simple workaround that is mind-boggling to me that they can't include it. To play Overwatch, you're required to have Battle.net open. Battle.net can check if you're online. So if you DC, or if your computer crashes, or if Battle.net bugs as well as Overwatch, which it typically does when the rendering device gets lost, quote unquote, Battle.net tends to crash and you have to manually close it from Task Manager to get it to open again. Blizzard could check that. They could say, alright, well, he left this game, but at the same time, Battle.net crashed, which means that either his computer crashed or his internet crashed. And ergo, it's not his fault, so let's not dock him SR and we'll just cancel the game. Oh, I know, canceling games, it's so bad. It's ultimately the only solution, though. If you aren't going to go the CS route of having bots that people can control, then you have to cancel the game once someone leaves. You have to. It's not fair to keep the game going, half-assed, 5v6, like it is, in its current state. It's simply not a functional idea. It's not fair to dock people SR for their computer crashing. There's simple solutions here. Again, check if Battle.net's online. If it's not, then they crashed. Alright? They didn't have fault in it. Cancel the game. Give them their SR back. Don't ban it. I understand that this could result in abuses of the system. And this is the counter argument that, oh, well, 6 stacks could just have one person, like, fake crash their computer to save their SR. But here's the problem. On balance, right? Between 6 stacks abusing the system to gain more SR, or groups, or people being bullied into leaving to cancel the game so other people save their SR, versus paying customers being banned from using their product, which is worse here? In my mind, it's very clearly it's worse for paying customers to get banned from their products for any period of time, especially when it's the product's fault that they're doing so. Obviously, it would lead to abuses, but ultimately, the game can deal with that. The SR system will, over time, drag people down who abuse leaving like that. And if they're willing to go through that much trouble, what does it matter? It's an arbitrary value. What does matter is taking away values that people strive for because you can't program a game. It's unacceptable to have this many bugs in the game. That much should go without saying. It's unacceptable for servers to randomly disconnect you and cost you SR. It's frankly ridiculous that in a game as team-based as Overwatch, a leaver does not instantly cancel the game. I get that it would be frustrating, but these games are quick, and queue times are quick. This is not CS. It doesn't take 5 minutes to get a game, so a leaver should cancel it. It's perfectly reasonable. It's reasonable to check if Battle.net's still logged in, and if it's not, to just give the person their SR back and not treat them as a leaver. All of these are simple fixes to a ridiculous problem. I'm trying to keep myself, relatively emotionally detached here, but it's hard for me to say that this is in any way acceptable. I'm genuinely angry about how I'm being treated by Blizzard here. They say they can't refund SR, they say that you should try to problem solve, and that's why the first penalties are low. Ultimately, right? If your game crashes, that's not on me. I should not be penalized in any way for it, at any point, ever. I am a paying customer. You are providing a product. Your product is defective, right? Let's say you bought a car, right? And then the brakes stopped working one day and you hit someone. The company could not then come to you and say, well, your driving of this car has now been restricted and we'll only let you drive it during the daytime. That wouldn't make any sense. The brakes failed. That's the company's fault. Why would they have any say over how you use the product? That's exactly equivalent to what's happening in this situation. It's ridiculous to be banning people for crashes. It's ridiculous to say you have no way of checking for crashes. Yes, there would be abuses, but ultimately, abuses are better than innocent people being abused. Blizzard needs to look at the balance of that and realize that they've made a mistake in this area. Overwatch punishes players for no reason. The system is not acceptable. It seems ridiculous to me that I even have to make this video, to be honest. The problems are so obvious, and the solutions also so obvious, that it boggles my mind I have to do this. This company claims, oh, we have to be harsh on this, there's no other way. There clearly is. There's clearly ways to work around this. There's clearly ways to make sure paying customers aren't penalized for your bad programming. Ultimately, it's not acceptable to claim that there isn't. It's like claiming that, oh, patching this character is difficult. Again, no one cares. They pay money for this product. Oftentimes, people buy loot boxes paying more money over time. It is your job to make the product work. Blizzard's utter disrespect for its player base and complete inability to make basic decisions or basic balance changes, a whole other topic that I'm not going to get into, and genuine harming of paying customers is patently ridiculous. Alright? Blizzard needs to fix their crap. Blizzard needs to fix comp.